Welcome back to an episode of Stronger Nurse Universe. I got my captain's hat, as you can see, and this is Captain Amazing for Stronger Nurse Universe. And today we're going to talk about, do nurses really need more money? Is that even a question we need to ask? Yes, we need more money. So I came across a travel nurse that needed help finding direction. That's what we do, is we travel. So how could she be lost? For most nurses, the goal is to achieve financial freedom. I know that's my goal. To be able to glare at your bank account and spend all those years holed up in a humid library reading Brunner and Suddarth's textbook of medical surgical nursing wasn't a complete waste of time. Trust me, I still got them same textbooks in my bookcase. But one question we fail to ask ourselves as we engage in this lofty pursuit is, what's next? What is next after 15, 20, 30 years as a bedside nurse? What happens when you have all of this money? Ain't that the goal? Why do you even want so much money in the first place? Well, that's none of your business. But for most people, getting money is just an end in itself. But for me, my self-care budget is astronomical. And I can tell you, without a guiding purpose, some sense of meaning, you're probably going to reach the end of the road with a bag full of cash. Money is absolutely essential, especially in the society that we live in today. I literally have an entire YouTube channel full of tips and hacks on securing that bag, baby. But I think it's not enough to aim for, more money. Yes, it's great and all, but what are you going to do with it once you already have it? Have you actually considered what life would be like after you left the bedside as a nurse because you finally got rich? Do you already have a plan? Because I do. Let me tell you, I have an entire curriculum, a whole lifestyle outside of bedside nursing that I am just waiting to literally accomplish. So y'all know me, I like to share my stories. So let me share you a story that best illustrates what I mean. So there was this travel nurse whom I once met. Y'all know me, I'm always moving around, and had the most incredible conversation with. If you've been following this channel for a while, you know that I love to base my discussions on real life interactions with fellow nurses. However, it's not often that I just run into somebody whose story simply gives me the chills, like goosebumps, y'all. And this lady, she did precisely that. One of the things that got me so excited about our conversation was how much we appeared to have similar values and ideas. And that's very rare, especially for someone like me. She did everything that I would have done if I worked in New York and Texas during the COVID-19 pandemic. Y'all know them nurses was out there getting a bag. $500K in a year. She actually had the guts to quit her full-time job in the state of Florida. And if anybody knows what nursing in Florida is like, I would quit too. One of the worst states for nurses. And moved to New York, where she earned $10,000 a week. 10K, y'all. That's unheard of, especially in today's climate. Yeah, if you're watching this in some distant future, i.e. 2023, 2024, or beyond, there was once a time when nurses were paid a decent living wage. Sure, it took the whole world literally shutting down for that to happen, but I guess only an earth-shattering event would make hospital management see nurses as people. I try and make it make sense for the last 14 years, and for some reason, it just does not compute. Anyway, as soon as the pandemic funds dried up in New York, she traveled on down to Texas in search of greener pastures and was able to once again maintain her $10,000 a week salary. I still can't believe that actually happened. And then people want it to happen again. That's the sad part. The sad and morbid part is that people are looking for something like that to happen again. She passed the first step. She won the nursing lottery, y'all. Her finances were finally in check. All she needed to do was spend the money properly. Very proud to announce that as any financially independent and intelligent person should, paid off all of her mortgage and purchased a house in cash for her mother. She paid off 5 years worth of taxes to Uncle Sam, paid off 2 car loans and 4 credit card debts. Damn, that's what I'm talking about. For all her very wise financial decisions, she had $100,000 saved, $50K in cash, and $50K in a high yield savings account. We talking about dividends, y'all. She was earning dividends on her money that she saved, and she has no debt. And that doesn't even scratch the surface. She also has investments account with Vanguard, Charles Schwab, and Ameritrade. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know I would trade my Hocus to be in her shoes right now. But beyond stellar financial intelligence and brilliant investment decisions, the discipline requirement is so essential. She lives by a very strict budget. Y'all don't like to hear that word, but budget. And spends only cash, okay? Yet, it might be shocking to hear me say that, especially by today's standards, she still isn't on a path to generating real wealth. What gives? At best, she might get a modest retirement, and she probably knows that too. That's why she's still working 48 hours in California as a bedside nurse with all this money saved, with all her debts paid off. If you want to talk about a person who embodies everything that I preach about in my vlogs and my articles, this nurse would fit the bill. In fact, as of this moment, she most likely has a higher net worth than I do. But one fundamental mindset sets us on 2 very different paths. Me? Oh, I have a plan to leave the bedside for good. Bye-bye. For good. And become a multi-millionaire through, you guessed it, entrepreneurship. And seeing where it leads. This leads me into one of my number 1 tips. You gotta find your why. One thing that was clear from our interaction was that she was extremely dissatisfied with her life, even though she paid off all her debts and she had money in the bank. She needed to know that there was more to this pursuit and some end goal was in sight. In her own words, and I quote, she described herself as one who is lost and has no direction. Without purpose. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It does not matter. Now, my colleague, she spent so much time reading self-help books, hoping to find meaning, but still doesn't have the energy or the courage to implement any of the actions consistently enough to improve herself. She doesn't invest in her health. That's the saddest part. I shared with her that the only way to escape this prison and to build a life worth living and walk away, literally walk away from that rat race. She asked me how I could build a multifaceted business, write content, and record my YouTube, and remain creative enough to develop my clothing brand, I Decide My Vibe, while doing my due diligence ahead of my next venture into real estate. We both have similar schedules. And don't forget, she's debt free and has excellent money management practices. So why do I seem to be more driven? Why can't she aspire for more now that she has begun earning a decent income? Let me tell you something. And this is what I feel like all nurses eventually end up struggling with. Passion, that gung-ho attitude that you're gonna save every patient. Passion is not enough. Her dilemma, much like yours more than likely, is that she feels like nursing is not the right long-term career. But she's afraid of the massive drop in salary that she would experience if she opts to pursue an unfamiliar path. Now, it sounds like an excellent idea for a passion project, and I fully support it. I totally do. If art is your thing, if beauty is your thing, if makeup is your thing, whatever your thing is, I promise I fully support it. But if we're being honest, this is the thing, you gotta be honest with yourself. The feasibility of this is questionable. Although I just explained that you have to push your limits and explore your creativity, it's also essential that there's more to the story. Sure, somebody's gonna lie to you and tell you money isn't everything, but money sure do make you happy and it makes things happen. But it's vital that you find that sweet spot between passion and profitability. I I fully understand this concept, I decided to be an artist full time. Yes, I did, because I love art. I am a supporter of the arts. So I gradually stopped working as a nurse. I built an online store. It was called Essence of Colette, and it had t-shirts, pillows, bags, and all sorts of merchandise with my art on it. I was so excited, and I was extremely proud of myself that I was able to put out this product. Back then, it didn't matter to me if the business was something that I could actually make money off of, or people would care to spend money on, or if I had no idea how to run an e-commerce store. I literally just believed that everything would just work out because I loved what I was doing. I mean, I just loved it. I was consumed. I was obsessed with what I was doing. So profitability, what do I need to make money for? People should just love it because I put it out. And I was pretty sure that you can't go wrong with an online business in the 21st century. Everybody got an online e-commerce store. I mean, earn $500,000 in 1 year just from selling pillows, greeting cards, and other weird stuff on Etsy. Nope. Certainly wasn't grandiose at all. So, if there's anything that you can learn from this, it's the fact that passion, it's not enough. Let me tell you, the goal is to pursue something that makes you feel alive while guaranteeing that you can keep the lights on, honey. And my hat. The goal is to always bet on yourself. I'd say that thinking, this is my thinking cap, y'all. Thinking, that's my specialty. My ideas sometimes come across intimidating, as audacious and ostentatious, and create a sense of insecurity in people who want to maintain the status quo. I never let anyone and what they think about me or my brand deter me from pursuing what I am passionate about. And this is a mindset that you should have if you're going to find fulfillment. The goal is to do what we absolutely love and make money at it. Very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. But it is possible. You just gotta keep failing until you succeed. Because that's what I'm doing. I am literally a failure until I become successful. I will not lie to you and claim that you'd always feel motivated to pursue your dreams, but do it regardless. Always worth it in the end. When I often ask my coworkers for feedback about my brand, Stronger Nurse, I'm met with a silent resistance and what only I can interpret as just a lack of support. However, I'm not gonna let that shit stop me. I am determined to win, and I will do it with everyone willing to listen and go with me on this journey. The first step, if you want to come with me on this journey, is to get your finances in order. After that, we can begin discussing what comes next. So, subscribe to this channel and go through our previous videos to get started. Thank you for joining Stronger Nurse Universe. This has been another episode with your girl, Captain Amazing, and her amazing hat and glasses. Yes, I will see you in my next video. Mwah! Bye.